Hey boys and girls, welcome to our first benchmark lesson. We're going to get us started on Unit 7, Week 1. If you have any questions, make sure you guys go ahead and ask. Hey boys and girls, we're going to go ahead and get started with benchmark Unit 7, which is Communities Past and Present. The first thing we're going to do is watch a video on mute, then we're going to go ahead and watch it with sound. Now we're going to go ahead and watch the video again, and I want you to pay close attention to what they're saying.
Communities past and present.
I am a lucky kid. I belong to many different communities. My town, my neighborhood, my soccer team, and others. Each one is different, yet equally important to me. What is a community?
Hey boys and girls, today we're going to be reading a story about St. Louis, a river community. And this is going to be a primary source. So a primary source, boys and girls, is an original document. And this is a primary source because it was from somebody that actually firsthand experienced what was happening there. So what do you guys know about St. Louis? Now, as we get started, we're going to go ahead and go over some vocabulary, just like we do in class. So are you guys ready? Mirror on. Axis. It can mean a way of getting something. Mirror off. Alright, boys and girls, so people who live in St. Louis have easy access to the river. Since it's right along the river, they have quick access to it. They can get to it very fast. So sometimes, as you guys log into Clever, you guys may need access for the website to log in. Now let's go over our next one. Mirror on.
Attracted. That means pulled
Towards or interested in. Mirror off.
Now, traders were attracted
To St. Louis because of the river. And magnets and metal are usually attracted to each other. They come together, they're attracted. Our next one, mirror on. Century is a span of 100 years. Mirror off. So the 20th century, boys and girls, includes the years from the 1900s to 1999. Most people don't live a full century, but giant tortoises often do. We're going to go ahead and get started reading St. Louis, a river community. But before we do that, I'm going to go ahead and identify all my text features. So the first thing I'm going to identify is, I know I have my title here. St. Louis, a river community. What do you guys think this is going to be about? I have the author here, Keisha Paul. Ooh, I know I have paragraphs, so I'm going to go ahead and number my paragraphs. 3, 4, and 5 paragraphs. I also have photographs here. So I'm going to go ahead and label my photographs. This is another photograph too. Now, I know this is a caption for the photograph. And this caption tells me the Gateway Arch is the most famous site in St. Louis. And it actually shows me a photograph of what the Gateway Arch looks like. Now, if I go over here, I also have a caption here. This caption says, factory work is an important part of the economy in St. Louis. And I could see them that they're probably in a factory working. Ooh, I can't forget this. I have a United States map. And it shows me where St. Louis is. That's a city. And Missouri, which is a state. And it also shows us, boys and girls, the Mississippi River and how long it is. Where it goes through, what states it goes. Another thing that I have is my genre up here. And I know it's informational social studies text. So if it's an informational text, I know that the author's purpose is going to be to inform us about something. Now let's go ahead and get started reading. St. Louis, a River Community by Keisha Paul. The Mississippi River flows through the middle of the United States. Many communities have grown along the banks of this mighty river. St. Louis, Missouri is one of the biggest. Almost 3 million people live in or around the city. The Mississippi River is a big presence in St. Louis. With such easy access to water, many people there enjoy boating and fishing. The Mississippi has affected the community in other ways too. As early as the 1700s, it attracted many traders and settlers to the area. When the United States began to expand in the early 1800s, St. Louis became the starting point for people moving west. Soon after, St. Louis became known as a gateway to the west. Today, people call it the Gateway City. Some prefer the shorter St. Louis. But St. Louis is more than just a gateway. It's a center for business as well. When it was first founded, St. Louis was primarily a fur trading post because of its location on the Mississippi River. In the early 1800s, this city began to industrialize as people built factories along the riverbanks. In the decades that followed, immigration and technology helped St. Louis grow into a center of industry. By the mid-20th century, St. Louis had become one of the world's leading producers of automobiles. Tourism is another important business. Visitors come from all over the world to see the mighty Mississippi and other sites, like the famous Gateway Arch. Baseball fans also come from far and near to watch the baseball team, the Cardinals.